All right, folks. Hey, good morning. Lone Coach Kelly here, coming to you today, bringing you North Coast Coffee Chats. And I've got my partner in crime,
David West, your solar best.
Yes, sir. And so as members of NCNG, North Coast Networking Group, we've developed this podcast to help bring our members together and get to know them a little bit more intimately and to let them express to our audience what they do, how they do, and why NCNG has been an important part of helping them grow their business. And so today we have an amazing guest on the show who's actually my business partner, Christian Vickery. What's up, dude?
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Heck yeah, man. Glad to have you on the show for today. So Dave, let's kick this one off with Christian. Let's put him on the hot seat.
All right,
Go easy.
we'll go on the hot seat. So Christian, yes, super glad to have you on today. It's been a pleasure to get to know you over this last year through NCNG. I'm not your business partner, so I don't know too much about the inner workings of your business, and I'm guessing the audience doesn't either. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey. Specifically, you used to be an EMT.
Yes,
And now
very
you're
briefly.
doing property management. So how did you come down to San Diego from the Bay Area and get into property management up there while you were there?
Yeah. So, I had a real estate background, when I was in my early 20s, worked for a commercial real estate company. My dad's done real estate for a long time, so it felt like a natural thing to kind of, explore. And I did commercial real estate in my early 20s. I just wasn't quite ready, wasn't mature. It was just a very demanding job. My buddies were still in college, and I'm just not ready for it, So I went to go serve at a restaurant for a little bit. And then I went through a period where I wanted to be a firefighter. So, with that track, you start off as an EMT. Quickly realized as an EMT that it just wasn't for me. It's one thing to read about the medical side and all that in textbooks, but when you're out there with catheters and whatnot, it's not quite as glamorous as you'd expect. So I quit that job really without kind of a backup plan, just because I knew it just wasn't for me, and literally a couple days later, coincidentally, this family friend asked my dad if I had my real estate license. And he said, yeah, I do. I went in for an interview with a property management company up in the Bay Area, got hired and was there for about 7 years. And then I started my company in the spring of 2017, Vickery Properties. Starting my own company is something that I'd wanted to do for a while. It was a matter of making sure I had enough capital, enough experience, enough knowledge. And I got to that point where I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, now's the time. So I quit that job with a property management company up in the Bay Area, started Vickery Properties, literally had like 2 months worth of savings in the bank, and had a 2-month-old daughter. And I remember my wife and I sitting out in the backyard, June of 2017, basically like, hey, if you don't get this going by the end of September, you're gonna have to be like an Uber driver or something to make ends meet until the business gets going. So there was really no safety net that I had, and that was a huge motivator in making sure the business was a success. There was no backup plan. And I just loved it. I feel like with property management, every week you're learning something new. And the business was growing at a pretty quick rate in the first year or two. And my wife and I, even as I'm growing the business in the Bay Area, my wife and I had always had an affinity for the San Diego area. We used to vacation in Carlsbad on an annual basis, and decided to pull the trigger during the pandemic in moving down here. I worked out of an office up in Pleasant Hill, California. And with the pandemic, everything kind of shut down, had to work from home, adjust my systems. And it was during that time where I realized, hey, we can do this from Carlsbad. So we moved down here about 2.5 years ago, and no regrets. Love it. Love the area, the beach, the schools, the weather. Everyone's so friendly. There's way less road rage than there is in the Bay Area. There's less stress down here. So no regrets at all. We're going to be down here for the long haul, and very happy here. And then, this past January, Vickery Properties became top tier property management. This guy reached out to me last August. And even before Kelly had reached out to me, with the concept of possibly merging our companies together, I always knew. As soon as I met this guy, I learned pretty quickly that he's someone I could work with. I knew he had a portfolio of properties that he managed. And, I saw how well respected he was by other members of North Coast Networking. And it was just smooth. We got together for some coffee, some beer, and merged our companies, and it's been incredibly enjoyable, and really excited about what the future holds for our company.
Yeah, buddy.
Sweet. A little long-winded, but does that answer your question?
Great.
Yeah, man. No,
Your journey is amazing.
Your journey is your journey.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. The cool thing that you said about that story, not bringing me into it, but as you started, that's the soul of an entrepreneur, is that you literally have a 2-month runway. You have a brand new baby, and you have a vision to go accomplish something. And you just run recklessly and you make it happen.
Absolutely.
And that's the spirit of entrepreneurship. And that's really what we're building with the members of NCNG, is that entrepreneur-minded spirit to just go after your goals and accomplish things. And, I was in a very similar situation to you when I started my property management business. I literally quit my job in the mortgage business to go start with a new mortgage company, left my management role to go back and be a loan officer, started my property management company all at the same time, with my wife being pregnant with our first kid. And it was like, there's nowhere to go but up.
Got to make it work.
You got to make it work.
Yeah.
There's just no other options. And so you pulled that off, man. And I'm glad that our partnership is flourishing. We hired our first employee this month. So
very exciting.
We're headed in the right direction.
Absolutely.
There. So super cool. So our business is super tricky because there's not any single day that's really the same. Like, we encounter so many different things, but like, what do you think, we haven't ever talked about some of these things, but like, what do you think some of the future challenges that we might face as property management company in our industry? Like, what do you think some of our challenges might be in the future?
Well, I think that we're shielded to an extent from all the automation, the AI, and these industries being taken over. But there will be challenges. A lot of automation is happening in our industry, which is a benefit to us in a lot of regards, but could be a challenge as well. You hear about these national property management companies buying local companies.
Yeah.
I think there's really something to be said, though, for like a local company. I feel like it is a very regional business. I feel like the national companies just don't know the local markets the same way, and the service isn't quite the same. But national companies will pose a challenge. AI will pose a challenge. But I think that we're protected in a lot of ways, because I feel like in property management, it's like the previous guest mentioned, it is about relationships.
Yep.
It's about diffusing situations. Whenever you're contacted in property management, it's because there's an issue. Maybe the tenant has a problem, the owner has a question or a problem, and it's about problem solving.
Yep.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the tone, how you talk to tenants, how you talk to owners. And oftentimes if there's a problem with the tenant and they're upset about something, I won't just email. You got to pick the phone and call, because I think there's no better way to diffuse a situation than talking to a tenant, showing them that you care, And so it's all those moments that you can't read about in a textbook, that you just learn from experience doing something over and over and over again, that I think makes you a good property manager. And that's something that I don't think AI will be able to replicate, at least anytime soon.
Yeah. We were just talking before this podcast about the concept of extreme ownership, which, if you haven't read that book yet, it's amazing. And that's exactly what it is. Before I get into the next question, I do have, how often does it feel like the emergencies that tenants or homeowners or landowners are bringing are real emergencies or not?
These are fun.
Well, yeah. I think now most of what tenants and owners consider an emergency, I don't consider an emergency, but I think a lot of that's because just of the breadth of experience. At the beginning, a toilet fill valve stops working. I thought that was an emergency. Oh my gosh, we got to get that repaired. But the longer you go, as you have more experience, you're less kind of put off your game by, the dishwasher stopped working. I used to panic. Oh my gosh, they can't wash their dishes. We got to get that repaired. Now I do look at it less emotionally and more professionally. Hey, okay, we got a problem. We got to solve it. We're going to do our best as quickly as possible. But emergencies do happen. If a tenant calls on the weekend and, the toilet's overflowing, you got to jump on that. I really care about our company's reputation, and, I don't want a tenant to, be put out for too long with something that's considered a habitability issue. But you just do the best you can. To a tenant, anytime there's something that's not working properly, in their eyes, it is an emergency. So I certainly want to respect that and just do the best we can to whatever the issue is to resolve it as quickly as we're able to.
Yeah, that's a lot of times that's missed. And like you were saying with big property management companies, the personal experience you get with top tier management is really why people want to work with you, right? Like you're gonna answer that call. Maybe it doesn't get handled right away, but it's going to get handled, and they know that.
Yeah.
And it's people's homes. It's the way, like, it's their living space. You know, they're renting, or it's their the rental property. That not operating seriously affects their way of life. And I feel like with these big property management companies, like you say, and buying all these small ones in local markets, they don't get that.
Right.
All they care about is just, I mean, maybe
The revenue.
They care about the revenue
Yep.
and making sure that things are just happening, not that they're actually taking care of people in their living space. So it's really fascinating to hear about how you handle situations. Now, what situations, like, do you have some examples that have been really, really crazy? Like, have you ever had some of those? Is this the right industry?
No, absolutely. I constantly, a couple times a week, you kind of, why'd I get into this business? Because it can be very stressful, but I think that's also what I enjoy about it, because any sort of major issue that you're trying to resolve, at the end of it, when you solve the problem, it might take a while. You might fall on your face a little bit as you're trying to reach the solution, but it just makes you a better property manager in the long run, because the next time you come across something similar, you just have more experience to draw from in solving the next problem that comes around the bend. But I mean, there's been countless situations, rodents getting into homes, you do all you can, but sometimes you just can't keep them out. And it's I think at the end of the day, it's just about communication and just showing that, hey, we're doing all we possibly can. We're taking this seriously. You're not gonna get radio silence from us. We're gonna be involved until, this problem is solved. But you're dealing with so many personalities in this industry as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one of the biggest challenges, I think, just frankly, not so much the properties you're managing, but the people you're dealing with, because I've come across situations where someone's complimenting us on the job we did, where if we handled it the same exact way, there's going to be someone out there that's not satisfied with how we handle it. So you can't keep everybody happy. You just do the best you can.
Yeah, it's interesting. Not every owner is cut from the same cloth.
Yep.
Not every tenant is cut from the same cloth. And as you say, in some tenants' eyes, a dishwasher not working is an emergency.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have a sink, right? You can still do your dishes, right? Okay, cool. So we're gonna get to that dishwasher.
Yeah.
And it'll get fixed, or we'll get you a new one, one of the two, but it's not an emergency, so just take a chill pill.
Yeah.
Like, calm down,
And that's even delicate too, because telling someone that's not an emergency when they think it is,
right.
you never know how they'll respond to that.
Some people just don't get it. I mean, like we had a tenant, so we had so much rain this first quarter of 2023.
Yep.
We ended up with our portfolio of properties had 12 roof leaks. So just think about, like, okay, we're doing the job, we're managing these properties, we're dealing with existing maintenance issues all the time, and then you pile on 12 roof leaks and it's still raining, and roofers are out there 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, trying to get on as many jobs as they can. No one has time. Everyone's super busy. And you're like, what the heck do I do? Like, I can't climb on that roof. I can't put a tarp on that thing.
You might be working with insurance companies, and that really can occasionally bog down the process.
Working with HOAs.
Yep.
I mean, you're everyone's problem solver, but you're put into this position where you really don't have control over stopping the problem, because the rain just won't stop.
Yeah.
And you just can't get on roofs while it's raining and it's pouring rain for 5 days straight, and you've got a roof leaking in. It's like, what on earth do you do here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, welcome to the world of property management, folks.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
And I think, like the longer I do property management, the easier those situations are, because you realize I can't get all emotional about this. Or all you can do is, okay, how do we get to the solution?
That's right.
If our hands are tied because we're working with insurance or all you can do is follow up with the HOA, follow up with insurance, try to keep moving the ball forward.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. So what are some of the things you really like about this business? Like I mean, some days are fun, fun challenges, but like, what are some of the things you really enjoy about this business?
I think it's very dynamic. I feel like every week, and I always say this, but I mean, I've been doing this for about 13 and a half years now. Every week you're learning something new. There's always something that comes around the corner that you haven't had to face on before, and that makes it challenging about the business because it's hard to perfect. You're always coming across new problems, right? But just learning every week, or maybe you do something a certain way and all of a sudden over time, we should do it this way. It makes way more sense to do it this way than that way, and you just kind of improve efficiencies over time. And I think just the life of the business, just not just learning as the weeks go by, but just really trying to improve your business, every week, every month, which for me is very rewarding when you kind of look at where you are today versus where you were 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, and just not necessarily seeking perfection, but just seeking improvement and progress, as the months go by.
Yeah. Cool. I feel that.
It's a notion with entrepreneurs. In order to grow and to evolve, you have to be able to work on your business, not in your business.
Yeah.
But to do that while also, having kids, and trying to counterbalance the rest of your life, how do you do that? Like, you have some hobbies like golf and other things. How do you counterbalance your work and your joy with other joys in life as well?
Yeah, so it's not always easy, finding that work-life balance. It's something I always strive for. It's hard though, because you want to make sure that you're present. I've got 2 daughters, one's 6, one's turning 4 later this month. And you want to be present for them, but you also want to make sure you're attending to your business, because ultimately it's the business that, if it's a success, that's what provides the better life for your kids and make sure they go to better schools and maybe down the road college, hopefully, but also as I get older, I'm turning 40 this year, you realize that, and I think I've gotten better about this, work isn't everything. I really pride myself on doing a good job at work, and I really care about what our company's reputation is. But at the end of the day, it's really about your family and providing for them and being present, and your kids, when they're grown up, looking back, just saying, hey, my dad was there. The greatest fear I'd have is that, my kids he's missing soccer practice or my ballet recital. I want them to look back, and I want them to see that I work hard, because I think instilling a work ethic in your kids is incredibly important. But I also want them to look back and say, hey, dad was there for my events. He didn't miss anything. He cared.
That's special.
Yeah. But as for striking the balance, something I'm always working on. I feel like I'm always just running around with my head cut off,
Oh yeah.
Kelly's like listening to this like spiel over here, and he's like, BS, Christian.
No, but definitely not BS.
But, yeah, so I don't always practice what I preach, but that is what I strive for. As for hobbies, I enjoy golf, mountain biking, running along the coast, and those are important. If you're working around the clock, it's not good for you. It's not good for your family. It's not good for your mental health, your physical health. So it's important to carve out time for hobbies and relaxation, and really just doing things you enjoy that are unwork related. And I think when you do that, it ends up making you a better professional anyway.
Yeah.
You can't work 24/7.
Yep.
But the moral to the story of property management in real estate and in mortgage is, it's really not a 9-to-5 job, right? Like this is one of those industries and one of those professions that you work when your clients need you,
Sure.
need your expertise, need your knowledge, need your influence, need your help and support.
Yep.
Because as little as we would like to say we don't have these problems, we do have emergency phone calls. We do get a 3:00 phone call that the bathtub overflowed upstairs and the ceiling is leaking water, and what the heck do we do at 3 a.m.?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You just woke me up. What did you say your name was again? What house are you living at? I forget your name.
Absolutely.
So you deal with some of those things, but you just kind of have to take it in stride. And the part of the also cool thing about our business is that you don't have to do our job from the office. Like, we can work from anywhere.
Yeah.
As long as we have a phone and a laptop and our system, our technology is all online.
Yeah.
Our phones are our best source of communication with anybody. We can work from anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
And so it really makes that work-life balance
Yep.
achievable. And one of the big things that, Christian and I, when we decided to partner together, one of the things that we were both really looking forward to is the opportunity of actually having a vacation where we could be like, I'm not dealing with that for 4 days. I'm just not. Like, it's all you, buddy.
Absolutely.
It's all you, Kelly. I'm out. Checking out.
Yeah.
Like, when you run your own business, you don't oftentimes have that opportunity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was one of the biggest draws and appeals about us, like, merging our companies, is the idea. I went to Mexico with my wife earlier on this year, and it was the first vacation I've taken in as long as I can remember where I'm on vacation, but the business is still moving forward. Applications can still be processed. Leases can still be written. Maintenance is still being handled. Before, when it was just me, if I'm at the pool at a resort, and a maintenance request comes in, you got to address it, So that's been a really nice luxury to have, just having just more support, and also the idea of synergy and just like, it's nice not being the sole decision maker like I was when it was just me. It's like being able to bounce ideas off each other, and ultimately I think the company becomes better the more people are giving input,
Yeah, collaborative synergy is definitely strong,
huge.
Strong with us.
Yeah.
It's kind of a question for both of you, actually. Merging businesses like this, obviously, I mean, you're both really passionate and really easy to work with, but how, obviously you get different visions, different goals for what you want to do. How have you collaborated and actually been able to work together to find it's amazing that you've been able to create those times where you get to spend that with your family and know the other guys got your back.
Yeah.
But getting into it, you mentioned just knowing you could work with Kelly, but actually working with people, gets a little different. So
yeah, I think when you partner with somebody, you never know exactly what you're getting into until you merge. But having said that, we got together a lot before we decided to merge our companies, and I learned really quickly, the systems we use are very similar. The vision for where we want to take our companies. If Kelly wants to be like this national company with 100,000 doors, and I'm thinking let's get to 500 or 600 properties, well, we might not be a good fit if those are our visions for our respective companies, but we were on the same page with a lot of it, and I just thought it was a fantastic opportunity when Kelly reached out to me, frankly, because before we started getting together and just kind of working out, okay, how does this look? How do we merge? I was just excited about the prospect, just based on what I knew of Kelly and getting to know him. But all like the kind of the big issues, I think we're on the same page. Now, you're never, there's going to be disagreements. But I also realized that I think Kelly and I were someone we can both take criticism, and at the end of the day, we just both want the company to be a success.
Yeah, I think we found, as Christian mentioned, we didn't make a decision overnight, although we did. Like, I think the first time we sat down and had a beer, we're like, hell yeah, we're doing this. Like, for sure, I'm in. Then it's like, okay, cool. So now let's figure out what that really means and what does that really look like.
Yeah.
And then we started dissecting each segment of our business and meeting one day and talking about one thing at a time and realizing we do a lot of these things similarly, but we have just slightly different perspectives on why and how we do one thing versus why and how you do something. And we just started kind of looking at them going, a little inefficient, little more efficient. Okay, little bit efficient, little bit less efficient. Okay.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of took some of the best of his world strategies and some of the best of my world strategies, and we just kind of married them together and said, yeah, that makes sense to like do it this way, and that makes sense to do it that way. And I think Christian has a lot more experience in some of the back end brokerage, technical, contractual knowledge than I do. And I'm just a glorified sales guy. I mean, that's my life is, out there selling, trying to sell somebody a mortgage, trying to sell somebody management services, trying to sell somebody, believe in me.
You're selling yourself. I've heard this guy on the phone dealing with tenants, not dealing with tenants, but working with tenants, working with owners. Way more knowledgeable than you're giving yourself credit for right now. But but I do think some of my weaknesses were your strengths. And some of my systems that I used, you've definitely improved upon. I think the worst thing you can say in business is like, when the question, hey, why do you do it that way? Well, it's just the way we've always done it. Yeah. I think it's important to like be open to better systems, right?
Yep.
For the health of the business. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys haven't had any couple fights yet? Nothing? No?
No, we've gone out to the parking lot a couple times,
Okay.
but
The
nothing
only
major.
fight's coming over this NBA series, probably.
Yeah,
might be the
Warriors
first,
and Lakers. I'm a
first
Bay Area
argument.
guy. He's LA, and yeah, exactly.
Fortunately, I'm not worried about the Giants, but
No, nor should you be.
no. But so you're marrying up a true LA fan to a true San Fran fan,
Yep.
and in the world of sports, we are massive collisions going constantly between Rams and 49ers, Giants and Dodgers, Golden State and Lakers, and here we are, business partners.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty
Yeah,
fun.
yep.
Take it out on the sports teams, but
That's
in
right,
business
yeah.
it works.
Yeah, business. It's all synergistic,
Yeah.
And then part of the cool thing too about our business and the vision of what we're doing is that it is a family business. Christian's wife Jen plays a super important role in our business. She manages all the accounting and all the books. My wife Amy, she plays a super important role in our business. She handles all the contracts, all the lease agreements, all the management agreements. So our wives are taking a lot of the non-money making components of our business off our plate so we can be focused on the money making activity of our business. And like you said, Dave, not working in our business, but working on our business, and sales and money making activity is really what you do working on your business in property management. That's the only way you can grow it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's so much minutia that is time spent that is not money-making activity.
Yeah.
And so hiring people or having our wives be those people to help us build this business collectively is definitely a huge benefit and plus for us.
I love that our wives are involved, and we hired a property manager last week. I'm really excited about that prospect as well. And the whole idea here is to constantly be improving the business. And I think with that move we made last week, hiring someone who I think is going to be fantastic, frees up time for us to focus on, the future of the company, growing the business, improving the business, the systems and all that, which is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So Christian, as your business partner, I know what our vision is, but what is your why? What are you doing this for?
For my family, I enjoy working hard, and my parents had very strong work ethics, and I definitely learned from them. But really, at the end of the day, my why is for my family. I've got a fantastic, wonderful wife, 2 amazing kids, and it's really for them, and just making sure that they have every possible advantage that I can give them. And making sure that they get off to a good start. And so at the end of the day, I take a lot of pride in what I do and our reputation. But at the end of the day, it's really for your family, just giving them the best life you possibly can.
Love that. Yeah, what you said earlier, just about inspiring them through hard work, but also being there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now this is North Coast Coffee Chats.
Yeah.
And I know you're not a San Diego native. You've only been here for a little bit. What's your favorite North County coffee place?
Oh man, so many. So I constantly go to coffee shops to work, and I'd say my favorite one is probably Better Buzz in Encinita, Better Buzz.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Everyone else is
downtown
Lofty. So
Encinita.
We have
I like Lofty a lot, and frankly, I go to Lofty more than I go to Better Buzz, just because it's a lot closer to our office and to where I live. But yeah, big fan of Better Buzz. But I don't know how much I like Better Buzz is more the experience, because whenever my parents come into town from the Bay Area, it's like a ritual. My family, my parents, we all go down to the Better Buzz in downtown Encinitas, get our coffee, get our acai bowl, walk down to the beach, moonlight, kids. So I don't know how much of Better Buzz is kind of just,
the atmosphere.
The atmosphere and just the experience of doing it with, people I love. But I love Lofty too. I love La Costa Roastery. It's fantastic. And that's what's really special about San Diego, all the smaller coffee shops, in the Bay Area. It's a lot of Pete's and it's a lot of Starbucks. But down here, it's just so many options.
Entrepreneurial.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of
smaller outfits.
Small mom and pop shops.
Yep.
It's kind of cool.
Yep.
And you've got that knack for being able to just load up your Mac and go out and sit down anywhere and work from it. And I'm so jaded with my 3-screen monitor setup in my office that you're like, hey, I'm going to go work from a coffee shop. I'm like, okay, cool. When you come back, bring me something. Yeah. I'm going to sit here with my 3 monitors and keep trucking. But that's just one of those things.
Yep.
you get used to something, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll sit here and keep pounding. So here we are growing top tier. Where can people find us? I know we've got a lot of work to do still on, the marketing aspects of our business. But, if anybody out there is a homeowner, if you're a real estate agent and you don't participate in property management services and you're looking to work with somebody that doesn't compete with you, where can they find us?
So our website's toptierpropmanagement.com, and we're out there. A lot of online advertising that we're doing, and our office is in Carlsbad. And you can always give me a call, 925-202-7110, if you just want to learn more about our property management services. And I always want people to feel like when they call us, prospective clients or just someone off the street that just wants to learn a little bit more, I always want to be a resource. Even if you don't hire us, someone that they can lean on for knowledge, expertise. I've got people that I don't work with any longer. Maybe properties where we did like a tenant placement, we don't manage the property, where those owners will periodically call me as they have issues that arise, and I just love being a resource for them.
Yeah, awesome. Very very similar. We we're always looking to network and build our business from within, and then also build our business from the exterior, right?
Yeah.
And part of that exterior growth of our business is the constant communication and networking and connections that we make with not just the members of NCNG, which we've got a lot of great ancillary services like Handyman Co., we've got home inspectors, we've got general contractors, we've got plumbers, we've got an electrician, we've got real estate partners. So, we're always looking to grow top tier from within and then from the outside.
Absolutely.
And I think that's part of what attracts people to top tier. To NCNG.
Yeah.
Is that there's such a diverse group of individuals that are in this group. We're almost 40 members deep now. We meet every Thursday for breakfast from 7 to 8:30. It's a business networking group. We're based on referrals. We're based on guests, and we just bring this collaborative entrepreneurial spirit together. And through that mindset, we all grow.
Yeah.
We all grow organically. And thanks to Max Lux for being our podcast hosts. You guys have an amazing set. Do an amazing job with our video editing. If you guys are out there, business folks, and you need some video content for your business, Max Lux is definitely the place to go. And if you're looking to grow your business and you need some partners that are not your employees, come check us out, NCNG, or online at northcoastnetworkinggroup.com. Visit us at Beach Plum Kitchen every Thursday from 7 to 8:30. And that'll wrap this episode. Christian, thanks for being on the show with us today, dude.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Let's do it again.
absolutely.
It's been awesome.
Good show. So cheers, boys.
Cheers, guys.
And go Lakers.
Dubs.